I went downstairs to unlock the front gate when I saw my own son carrying moving boxes into my garage while my daughter-in-law smiled and waved a forged power of attorney at the locksmith. They thought I was already trapped inside a miserable nursing home. They never imagined I had spent the previous night with an attorney, a judge's emergency order, and a forensic document examiner. Before sunset, their celebration became the biggest humiliation of their lives. Before we begin, dear friends, please help me. Your subscription is very valuable to me. Please subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. My name is Florence. I am 62 years old. Until that terrible week, I believed family loyalty was stronger than money. I had worked for 38 years building a successful interior design business. Every contract was saved. Every investment was carefully documented. When I retired, I sold the company for $3,800,000. After taxes and fees, I invested wisely and bought my dream home overlooking the lake. The property alone was worth $2 million. I owed nobody anything. My late husband Daniel had always warned me that wealth revealed true character. I missed him every single day, but I believed our son Ethan had inherited his father's honesty. Instead, he married Vanessa, whose smile could charm strangers while hiding endless ambition. Her mother Gloria treated every conversation like a negotiation. She constantly asked about bank accounts, insurance, property taxes, investment statements, and beneficiary forms. I answered politely but carefully. Something inside me always whispered to keep copies of everything. That habit eventually saved my life. 3 days before everything exploded, Ethan invited me to dinner at their house. Vanessa served rosemary chicken with expensive Napa Valley wine. She kept refilling my glass even though she knew I rarely drank alcohol. Ethan barely looked at me. He kept checking messages from his phone. Gloria arrived unexpectedly carrying a leather folder. She called it routine estate planning. She insisted every responsible parent should simplify paperwork before aging became complicated. I smiled quietly and declined. The disappointment flashing across their faces lasted only a second, but I noticed it. The following afternoon, my longtime banker called privately. Someone had attempted to verify my signature for a large property transfer. The request looked unusual. He refused approval because he recognized inconsistencies in the identification. My heartbeat slowed instead of racing. Panic clouds judgment. Calm exposes predators. I thanked him and immediately requested copies of every document. Within 1 hour, I was sitting inside my attorney's office reviewing forged signatures, altered initials, and fake notarizations. My attorney looked directly into my eyes and said, "Florence, they are rushing because they believe you are vulnerable. We will give them exactly what they expect, until the law closes around them like steel. Then nobody will save them from their own greed." I simply nodded, signed every necessary paper, and prepared the quiet counterattack they would never see coming at all. My attorney asked me not to confront anyone. Instead, we contacted a forensic document examiner who confirmed the signatures were fabricated. We also alerted the county recorder, my financial advisor, and the bank's fraud department. Every institution quietly placed protective alerts on my accounts. No transfer, withdrawal, mortgage, or ownership change could happen without my personal appearance and fresh identification. The next morning, Vanessa called, sounding unusually sweet. She suggested breakfast together before visiting what she described as a beautiful retirement community. I accepted immediately. She sounded relieved. Predators become careless when they believe victory is guaranteed. She arrived wearing a cream designer blazer, oversized sunglasses, and perfume that smelled heavily of jasmine and vanilla. Ethan followed behind, avoiding eye contact. Gloria carried another thick folder. They exchanged quick, confident glances while pretending concern for my health. During breakfast, Vanessa repeatedly mentioned memory problems I supposedly had. She even reminded the waitress that older people sometimes forgot important appointments. I smiled, thanked the waitress, and asked for another cup of coffee. The performance deserved applause. Unfortunately for them, the restaurant's security cameras recorded every word. After breakfast, they drove me toward the nursing home. Halfway there I quietly texted my attorney a single word. Ready. That message activated everything. 2 investigators, 1 sheriff's deputy, and a licensed notary were already waiting nearby. The facility itself was depressing. Peeling paint covered the entrance walls. The lobby smelled of bleach mixed with stale medicine. Vanessa enthusiastically described cheerful activities while avoiding the broken ceiling tiles above us. Gloria pushed paperwork across a desk and insisted I sign immediately because a room had supposedly been reserved. I slowly adjusted my reading glasses. The admission agreement included authorization allowing someone else to manage my financial affairs. Attached behind it was another forged property transfer. They truly believed I would sign without reading. I calmly placed both documents back onto the desk and asked for a pen. Vanessa grinned. Ethan finally relaxed. Gloria folded her arms triumphantly. Instead of signing, I wrote 1 sentence across every page. Evidence received. Then I stood, opened the lobby doors, and welcomed my attorney inside. Every smile disappeared. Behind him walked the forensic examiner carrying comparison charts, the sheriff's deputy holding official papers, and the county investigator with a sealed evidence case. My attorney requested that nobody leave. Gloria protested loudly, but the deputy calmly explained that presenting forged legal documents and attempting to obtain property through deception were serious criminal matters. Ethan turned pale. Vanessa whispered that everything was just a misunderstanding. I looked directly at my son and realized he still expected me to rescue him. This time I remained silent. Silence was the one gift they had never imagined I could weaponize. The investigator photographed every document, collected fingerprints, and requested everyone's identification. Even the nursing home administrator admitted the reservation had been arranged using false claims about my mental condition. Vanessa's confidence collapsed completely. Ethan could not meet my eyes anymore. Not for 1 second. The investigation moved quickly. Within 24 hours, the emergency court issued an injunction blocking every fraudulent filing. Criminal charges followed against Gloria and Vanessa. Ethan avoided prison only because he accepted responsibility, cooperated fully, and admitted exactly how the scheme had been planned. News spread through our neighborhood. People who once admired Vanessa's polished manners finally saw the truth. Every fake smile, every rehearsed compliment, and every calculated lie became public record. The luxury handbags, expensive vacations, and constant boasting suddenly meant nothing. 1 week later they arrived at my house with a rented moving truck, convinced they could finally move inside. They found new locks, security cameras, and a court-authorized notice attached beside the front door. Their access was permanently prohibited. As they stared in disbelief, a professional moving company carried elegant furniture into my home. I had leased the property to a respected corporate executive for 3 years with every payment deposited automatically into my investment account. The lease had been signed legally before their forged documents surfaced. There was nothing left for them to claim. My attorney stepped onto the porch and handed Ethan 1 final envelope. Inside was my updated estate plan. Every charitable donation, every scholarship fund, and every beneficiary had been carefully changed. Not $1 would ever reward manipulation again. Ethan received only a modest trust providing counseling and financial education after strict yearly reviews. If he violated the conditions, even that disappeared forever. He looked at me with tears forming. I finally spoke. I told him losing money hurts, but losing integrity destroys an entire life. He apologized repeatedly. I accepted his apology, but forgiveness never required restoring trust. Some bridges remain standing. Others must be burned to protect everyone waiting behind them. Reporters called for interviews, but I declined. My peace mattered more than public attention. Instead, I quietly funded legal workshops teaching seniors how to recognize financial abuse, verify notarized documents, protect digital banking, and report suspicious behavior immediately. Every class reminded me that knowledge creates confidence. Confidence prevents exploitation. Several attendees later thanked me because they avoided scams after applying those simple lessons. Their gratitude healed wounds money never could. Daniel would have smiled proudly beside me. Remembering his quiet wisdom strengthened my resolve every single day. Justice arrived because preparation, patience, and documentation defeated deception, not luck or coincidence. That realization became my greatest inheritance, far more valuable than any mansion or investment portfolio I ever owned. It remains my daily reminder to trust actions, never appearances alone. Today my mornings begin with coffee overlooking the lake, peaceful walks, volunteer work, and laughter shared with genuine friends. My home feels safe again because I chose courage instead of fear. The greatest revenge was never anger. It was building a joyful future that greed could never touch. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments what you would have done.